Nearly 1 out of 4 projects fail due to subcontractor poor performance. So why time and time again you have seen that your subcontractor fails to meet project requirements, which results in poor quality, which results in schedule delays or even cost overruns as well. And this is what I want to talk about today. How you as a project manager can overcome these issues right from the point where the subcontractor agreement is signed or when the purchase order is issued. So let's dive in. So the question is, if the subcontractors contributes towards project risk, or in fact they even are the source of delay for the projects, why do we need to hire the subcontractors in the first place? In order to better understand this question, let's first try to put some context to it. So the context is the following. Say now, for example, you're working for an energy contractor. In my case, I work for a company called Prysmian Group, which is the largest cable manufacturer in the world. And Prysmian usually acts as a turnkey contractor. So in simplistic terms, it essentially means providing end-to-end solution to our customers. And who are our customers? Our customers are the utility operators. So if you are based in UK, it will be National Grid. If you are based in Saudi, it will be Saudi Electricity. If you are based in Dubai, it will be Diva, and so on and so forth. So in a turnkey project, the our main customers, which is the utility operators, awards the project to Prysmian, which is a turnkey contractor, right? So in this case, let's take an example that we have been awarded a project for a land cable, right? And when you are performing land cable projects, it's laying cables between the two substations. You need to perform some civil activities, right? So what do I mean by civil activities? It could be digging trenches, or it could be providing dewatering solutions, and so on and so forth. So as much as we are a large scale, European company, we still need to complement the resources for our local subcontractors. So far we have tried to answer two questions. First, what is the need of a subcontractor? And second, what is the role of the subcontractor? Now let's try to understand what you as a project manager can do in order to avoid a situation where your subcontractor in fact becomes the source of project delays. So one thing that we recommend is that as a main contractor, you should request for a pre-qualification document from your subcontractors. Now, what is a pre-qualification document? So in simpler terms, pre-qualification is a set of package from your subcontractor which demonstrates subcontractor capability from the financial standing, from the resources, from the equipment, and his past track record. So the pre-qualification package helps you to pre-screen the subcontractors even before you have invited them to submit the quotations, right? So say now, for example, that you have invited 5 subcontractors to submit the quotation for a portion of a civil works, right? And even before submitting the quotations, these subcontractors will already be pre-qualified by you because you have received this package where their financial standing and the past track record and technical competencies are defined. So you are actually pre-screening your subcontractors even before they are invited to submit their quotation. Now, I understand some of the project managers may actually think that, we usually work with our convenient subcontractors who's readily available with a phone call. He's already pre-qualified. We know how they work. They know how we operate, and so on and so forth. And that is true in most cases, but that may not be true in all cases. So when the demand is at peak and your subcontractors is tied up in other projects, you need to bring in new subcontractors into the picture. And henceforth, in order to avoid any problems during the quotation receiving stages or the bid stages, you need to ensure that you have the subcontractor pre-qualification handy and you are already pre-screening your subcontractors even before they are invited to submit their bids. So far we have tried to answer 3 questions. Number one, why there is a need for a subcontractor, what is the role of a subcontractor, and how subcontractor pre-qualification helps to mitigate the risk during the execution stage. Now let's try to understand what you as a project manager need to look out for in the pre-qualification package. So let's dive in. So the first thing that we usually look out for in the pre-qualification package is the business setup. So the business setup essentially means that your subcontractor must have a valid commercial license to operate in that specific country. So take an example. In my case, I'm based in Bahrain. If I'm hiring a subcontractor from UAE or Saudi, it does not matter whether they are based in UAE or Saudi, they need to have the right legal structure to operate in that specific country where that project is being held, and that is Bahrain. So they need to ensure that they have the right commercial license to operate in that country. So this is not just a requirement because of the taxation or because this is a legal requirement, but in fact this is from an execution point of view, this is also key as well. So this helps them to issue local purchase order because they may have to buy consumables. Second, they need to hire local resources. The third, they need to import items as well from outside. So having a valid commercial license is key to have a good pre-qualification package. So the second thing that we need to look out for is a financial standing. So the subcontractor need to have sufficient working capital to manage their obligations in the event of late payments from the contractors on the end customers. So what are the things that we usually look out for? We usually look out for last 2 years or 3 years financial statements. It is highly preferable that these financial statements are audited. The second thing that we usually look out for is a letter from their bank confirming that the subcontractors have met their financial obligations in the past projects. So the third point that we look out for is the track record or the past experience of a subcontractor. And this by far is the most important point in the pre-qualification package. And usually the subcontractors make a lot of trouble on this specific point. So in my experience, I have seen a never ending list of equipment and people and a long list of previous jobs, which is something very difficult to go through. So what you need to look out for is not just long list of jobs, but what you need to look out for is the specific jobs that is being carried out which are relevant to your scope. So for example, if your subcontractor have done past jobs in installation of gas lines or water lines, they are definitely cross transferable skills that can be used in the electrical power cable industry as well. So you need to look out for past track record which are relevant to your industry. Second, I understand that there are also some in terms of the resources as well. There are people who have the cross transferable skills, which is understandable. But for the main resources, the project manager must have the right competencies to carry out the job in a safe and efficient manner. So the fourth aspect to look out for in the subcontractor is the health and safety. So now I know as a project manager, we don't take great care of this part, especially at such an early stage of the project. But if you can review or if you can pre-screen the health and safety aspect of your subcontractor at such an early stage of the project, it will help you to avoid any lost time incident during the execution stage of the project. So there are a couple of things to look out for in terms of health and safety in your pre-qualification package. One of the things could be the lost time incidents, which is one of the KPIs. The second thing that you can look out for is the CVs of the health and safety officer. So it's okay to have a health and safety officer which has the right track record, but if you are working in restricted environments, your HSE officer need to have the right certifications and the qualifications. And the third thing that you could potentially ask your subcontractor at this stage is a short accept of the HSE plans. I mean, your subcontractors do not necessarily have to submit a comprehensive HSE plan at a pre-qualification stage, but at least a few pages of an HSE plan helps you as a project manager to understand if your subcontractor is capable enough to operate in an environment which is to operate in a safe and efficient manner. So final thoughts. I hope that the tips that I've shared will help you to mitigate your subcontractor risk. I would love to hear from you what strategies you have applied in the past to mitigate your subcontractor risk. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.